Oh,
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Fine, I'll Watch It. I'm Smokin' Fat Jay,
I'm Matt Christy.
James Kopp.
and we are here as we are every week to talk about whatever's going on in nerd. Sometimes current, sometimes not.
And sometimes I make Jared a liar online.
Sometimes, what did I do? What?
You posted like on every single Canoodle page that we're talking about Dune 2 this
Oh
week.
yeah, well that's
Oh,
100% your fault.
It is 100% my fault because
So
I
yeah,
didn't get a chance to see it.
you made me into a liar. So we will be talking about Dune next week, but we're gonna continue.
spoiler alert! I hated it. So it's
Yeah, if
Two
you watch
stars.
it
like
on-
if you want to tune in to watch a middle-aged white guy bitch about Dune, get ready. Oh man,
You want to see how James Kopp arrives to his Radium 2 this week?
Yeah.
Tune in next week.
Well, I have a different opinion on it, and
I
we'll
think
see
most
if you have a
people do.
different opinion.
I will
as
have
well.
an opinion. That is for
Yeah,
sure.
He will have an opinion.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about Dune 2 next week, but this week we're going to continue the conversation that you guys started last week. I was absent about Avatar, the Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender. You guys watched about the first half.
We watched the first. We talked about the first 4 episodes. James had seen the first 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And I, as of today, actually finished. I was still had a couple to go. So
Perfect. We're all good
caught
there.
up to the end. So
And let's be honest. There's only 2 Avatar series. There's the animated one, and then there's this one.
yeah.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else.
The other one wasn't a series, so for sure
there's
there
there's
wasn't.
nothing else
But
Avatar
also,
related.
yeah, there's nothing else ever
Which
out
is
there.
funny. Like after watching this, I'm like, man, you had a really kick-ass 3-hour movie in this fucking mess of a show. Like this should have been the movie that had you. We'll get into it. It's major spoilers. Spoilers for the whole fucking show from here on out. Because I think we're gonna jump into it.
Everything,
So,
everything.
but I guess we should do our overall.
well,
let's start with our overall. What was
Can
everybody's
I real
overall
quick
for this show?
just talk about how I felt about the first 4
Yeah,
episodes
go ahead.
quickly?
Yeah, totally.
I do think that it's been a long time since I saw the animated series, so I was kind of going off memory, but it obviously kind of started off a little bit different. I thought, to me, I liked the earnest take on a lot of it. I thought that there were some things that were lost in translation from animation. You know what I mean? Because there's just some goofy shit that you just can't really pull off and make it believable.
When they do some goofy shit though, like I'm a sucker for some. They used fucking stilts in an episode, like stilts to get across like fucking Scooby Doo to cross like an army going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I loved it. I was like, that's fucking amazing. So like,
like I say,
when
the choices that they made to do that goofy stuff, I thought was
Yeah.
right, and I thought to kind of steer clear of some of it and maybe spend a little bit more time because we are moving to a live action. You are moving to a more adult audience because the people who, other than us in this room, most of the people who really like that series are were younger when they got into it and now are in their probably 30s to maybe pushing 40. Yeah,
Us age.
So I like the first 4.
I would also say this though: if you're going to do just a straight beat for beat and everything remake of the cartoon, just watch the fucking cartoon. So you gotta. That's the impossible thing. You got to be as good as that, but you also got to do new stuff. Otherwise, why did you make it? It's like why anybody trying to do fucking Lord of the Rings is like, well, I guess I'm just gonna go fucking shoot myself in the fucking dick.
Yeah.
Because it's like the Lord of the Rings movies were done so well.
Yeah.
That like anybody who what new can you bring to it? And we saw even Peter Jackson with The Hobbit couldn't bring anything new to it. Like it's like
and
it's
essentially
kind of
with
done.
this, you're trying to do 2 things. You're trying to satisfy a already standing audience, but you're also trying to kind of bring it to a new audience too.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think it suffers from something that I say a lot of times. If we're going to go to our overall feeling, I thought that it was pretty great for an adaptation. I thought that it did suffer from the same thing that we say in the show a lot, where we may be kind of on the opposite end. It could have used a few more episodes to flesh a few more things out. I thought that they did some interesting things, but there are some pretty important character storylines that I think they just didn't have time to take with. So it jumped, and then only my reverence for the old one and kind of knowing how deep this character went, I felt like that's what really gave me the give a fuck, where the series really didn't show me that. It was because some things were really pushed, they were fast forwarded. There was some character driven storylines that they had to just take leaps because of the time constraint.
Well, James made the comment last week that probably his least favorite character of all the characters was Aang.
It wasn't that way in the cartoon.
No.
And so it's really tough.
But that's saying, going back to what Jared said at the very beginning, which is that there's a lot of goofy stuff that's not there, and I think that's where Aang as a character is a problem in the live action, is that a lot of the goofy stuff was for him in the animated series, and it was just pretty much all cut out. There's a few things he does, but most of it is just serious for him.
Yeah, he's very serious Aang all the time, and that's fine because I think the serious moments are that's at least one side that you're wanting to play, that this child has to make these decisions, but you're not showing him be a child near enough in this, and I think that's where the time constraints suffer.
The time he is at his best is in episode 6 when him and the Fire Prince, and he actually acts more like a child than trying to be this important thing, and it's but we'll get into it. Yeah, for me, overall, it was
still a heavy child thing because he was still playing the child, but it was more like, hey, my child, my childlike view of the world, and having such this hopeful view of the world, where we've seen we've seen what's the Fire Prince's name? Zuko obviously get that literally burned out of him. You know what I mean? Purged in fire out of him. So that was cool, but again, you don't get to see just that. Look, I'm a kid that wants to be a kid. You see a little bit of it in the first episode.
Well,
but
he also starts before he becomes. He finds out he's the Avatar in the first episode too, so that's kind of why you get that.
But I also think in episode 6, with him dealing with the Fire Prince, he was talking to him, asking him about his diary that he fucking stole and shit. And it was there was stuff where it was oh, this is actually how two early teenagers might talk to each other if they were left alone. So stuff like that felt more in this kid's wheelhouse for being able to accomplish.
How old's Aang supposed to be
acting
he's like 10.
He's like 10, somewhere in that age, because that's generally the child.
Look, I have a 12-year-old, and Oh yeah, 112.
Technically, because he's been frozen for 100 years.
He was frozen for 100 years. Oh, so 12. Okay. So yeah, but I feel like I see my 12-year-old have just these kid moments where they kind of just have to be, And I felt like you got that in the cartoon. But I still mostly love this series. Sorry. Moving on.
Yeah, for me, this series is a mixed bag. When it hits it knocks it out of the park. When it sucks, and it sucks a couple of times, motherfuckers, it's real bad. So it's a mixed bag for me. But
and me for the next second 4 episodes. I mean, the second 4 episodes are better than the first 4 episodes overall.
Yes.
Yeah. Both story wise and just what goes on and everything like that. Because episode 2 was just a real drag for the action and choreography.
Episodes 1, 2, 5, and 8 are not great. Just not great episodes. They're bad episodes. Which is why when we talk about this, and me and Smokin' Phat have gotten this fucking fight before. You're like, they needed more episodes. I'm like, motherfucker, you couldn't fucking give me good ones here. It's real hard to say, I want them to flesh things out, but I also want them to, the story they're telling needs to be at least somewhat compelling.
Well, just to me, that I don't disagree that those episodes were the the lesser of the episodes.
Yeah.
I think there was still moments in those episodes of storytelling, especially when it comes to, like, let's just give it up for Iro. That's how you say it? Iro or whatever. Like, holy shit, like, that's redeeming for episode 8 for me 100%, even though it is kind of blue kaiju weird stuff at the end. There's moments in that episode that really shine for me too.
So your best friend became Godzilla.
Like, that's my least favorite. It goes back to your Aang being kind of just like, it's unfortunate how little he is at least at the same level with some of the other characters.
No, man, and it's I know this is kind of shamey, but like what we were talking about last week, it's a shame this kid wasn't an acting bender, because like this motherfucker, some of the people in this show, it's like if like Fred Savage was next to like Peter Dinklage, you know, where it's like maybe in another time or realm you would have been okay. But some of the people in this show fit the character so well. It's like, I called it last week, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson level of perfect, where it's the brother and sister and the Fire Prince and the uncle. This is exactly how I saw them from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, for me anyhow. So and I think that lays into it a little more. I like their performances more. I think they're stronger actors, but I also think it's because they're fitting for that puzzle piece for this show. They fit it so well that and yeah, for me the lead is just not that strong. And then Fire Princess Valley Girl is fucking Jesus. Daddy, do not worry. I am the Fire Princess. Fuck me. It's like it's like whatever they're doing with you, they do the opposite next season.
What
please.
are their last names? What's the fire guy's last name?
Ozai. No, Ozai.
Is it Ozai? That's his first name, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Moon Ozai.
So
fucking
on your point to the kid as an actor, the first 4 episodes, that's all him, because he needs to be something different than he is in those first 4 episodes in terms of how he's giving the performance. These last 4 episodes, that's less about him being an actor and more about how they wrote the character and what they actually gave him to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't hold him fully responsible for the second half of the season.
Well, even give directions, especially if you're working with a young actor. Like, the director is kind of at fault. Like, they needed to get what they needed to get out of that kid. And, you know, if he wasn't the right kid for the job, then someone made a bad decision before that. But I don't want to lay it too much out on that kid, because I know that it's kind of his first thing. But they really didn't give him a lot of things to do. We were talking about this
last week, because I really don't like the lead. So it's like, I'm okay, and I made peace with it before we talked last week. I was like, no, I'm okay shaming this kid to a long, hard life if that happens.
That's fine. You shame away, James. This is
shame away.
Why
shame away,
you are on this show, 100%.
But I think it gets me more because the Fire Prince and the uncle are like, and I saw a lot of reviewers online were kind of bashing like the actor playing the uncle, like, oh, he doesn't quite feel the right part. And he's one of the strongest parts of the show.
Easily, like that.
Easily, like
him turning, him pulling the Darth Vader fucking at the end. You know what I mean? Like 100%. Also, the bad guy. The dude, what's he on? A million things? He's on all kinds of shit.
The main bad guy, or the guy who was kind of the antagonist?
The antagonist for the season.
Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
Amazing. But he did an amazing
great.
job.
Yeah.
I loved it. He felt the most cartoon bad guy in this, and he made that work for me.
His supervillain plan was to kill the moon. To kill the fucking moon.
And he succeeded.
Like, love it.
He succeeded.
It's like, it's literally the shot of the Gru talking to the minions. Like, we will capture the moon. It's just like, you dumb bitch. That's your plan? Kill fish in a bag and you're gonna stab it, you stupid fuck. Like, there were so many moments of comedy that were lost on that final episode, because there's drop the fish, Get away from the teddy bear. That's what it could have been.
Bunny rabbit.
We could have had a Con Air moment.
There's the bunny.
Fucking...
Step away.
Yeah, get away from
bunny.
the bunny. That's what it is.
I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I loved the fucking fireball moment when he came in. You know, I like how they left it. I like how it's.
It was the setting up for season 2 was a little like, dude, fucking calm down, man. Just fucking. Just
the only issue I had with the end of the episode 8 and the setup for season 2 is like it was all from the villain's side that they were doing the setup for.
Yeah, the end was all the villains.
It was like, we don't care about the heroes. They're going to do their thing.
Well, they set it up. They're going. They actually set it up good because they said you're going to go to the place that you end up. The villains have taken the fuck over.
No, I know.
So you're setting up. Oh shit! Moment.
Man, now when he was looking at the fire comet, he might as well looked at the screen and gone, shareholders may want to invest now because we're going to have it was like such a fucking commercial for more fucking Netflix, and it was just like, dude, fuck you, tell your story, tell your fucking story. Like, you don't need to. We didn't need shit after, not to bring out the fucking holy trilogy here, but that we did after A New Hope or Empire. We didn't need anything extra. We didn't need setup. Like, we were so fucking sold. People were mad at Fellowship because it just fucking ends. And really, when you go back and rewatch it, it does not just end. No. It has a huge ending, but none of us saw that. Everybody just saw it as just ending.
I agree with you that it didn't need that at the end. Like, just having them,
good God,
just having them be like, hey, okay, we have a fucking mission. We made it through this part, and we're not going to let that deter us from going on. You know what I mean? Like, especially as bleak as that ending was. I did like
the moon died.
The moon died.
They killed fucking Moon in the show. The moon is dead.
And then a character that we saw for an episode and a half sacrifice themselves, and
that's classic.
Are supposed
that's classic
to care.
Comic book cartoon. That's classic comic book cartoon. Don't worry about that.
It is. No, so the ending to me was that, all right, we got the heroes. We gotta go on our journey. We gotta continue our journey. Then we cut over to Ozai. As he's willing to sacrifice his son. Okay, cool. Then we go to Valley Princess.
Yeah.
And then that should have been it.
I took over the Earth people.
That should have been it. It's like the comet scene in the planetarium, whatever thing they had there. It seemed like that should have been a mid-credit thing that happened after the credits ran or something like that.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was when watching that, because I'm currently playing through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's like, hey, this looks like Cosmo Canyon from back of the original PlayStation 7.
100%.
Just as chintzy and shitty looking, but
dude, what's funny is, like, the sets on this can't be more night or day. Like, we'll get into this more with the things we liked and didn't like. But, like, some of the sets, like, oh my God, they spent a lot of money on this show. This is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And then others sets are like, shoot it in Gary's office. Just put up some, like, blue walls and shit. Like, some of the sets are like community theater level bad, and so, which, like, made it kind of funny every now and again when they would run into, like,
here's my thing is some of the water bending shit was so bullshit. Like, look at, if you can make ice, why would you ever make water other than to put the fucking fire out? Like, if you're not putting the fire out, you should be 100% like making clubs of ice to fucking knock people out and shooting ice shards. Like, you would never make wavy water to push motherfuckers over. They murder people constantly. They have zero issue with murdering people. It's never a thing. So why are you not just ice spiking people through the fucking head it should be John Wick ice spikes from the water people at all fucking times.
They're the good guys. You can't have the good guys kill people.
No, they kill people all the time. No. All the time they kill people throughout this whole show.
I understand.
Children murder people every episode.
But is it the heroes doing the murdering, or is it
the
bad
guys? The heroes murder people. They jump on that ship and they blow it the fuck up. A giant kaiju murders thousands of the Fire Nation in the fucking
But that's a
pen.
kaiju. He sacrificed himself.
Still children,
I know.
And all the rest of them are murdered. And then children die, and they show them, and they put fucking things over their heads.
I made the point. Last week when we talked about it. That I am amazed that this show somehow every episode gets a TV PG rating. It's like there is
because
more
there's no blood.
No, there is. There is.
There is. Yeah, you're right.
There literally
but
is
not
blood.
Ice shards through the head, John Wick style. That's the only thing.
Fucking episode 1, people got burned, like fully burned to a crisp burn.
Children got immolated.
That you saw happen the entire way through. TV PG. That's fine. Kids need to see that shit.
Yep.
It's also like the powers of the Benders. This is going back when I used to watch it in 2001 with people on marijuana. It was one of the things was like, how strong is their power? It's like talking about like Magneto's power or mutant power, if you will, where it's like if you're an airbender and they are firebenders, take all the air out of the fucking room from them and there can be no fire. So it's like, how much will that ever play into? So, I just don't think there's ever been like a very clear message about why they do things the way they do them.
It's just like everything. Again, we're bitching, but we've all read comics forever, and everybody's power. You know, it's the old thing.
Yeah.
Superman is as strong as he needs to be.
Yeah,
and whoever's right.
Situation,
You know what I mean? And whatever it is, and if he needs to dodge a gun that someone throws at him after he got shot 3 times, then that's the way it's fucking gonna go.
Yeah,
that's the story.
That's what we're doing. 50s and 60s, where Superman had these bullshit powers that never reemerged.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the 80s, shit. You know, I mean.
Well, we've been kind of like shitting on this for a minute. Why don't we talk about the stuff we really like? What was the stuff that I was actually blown away a couple of times by this show, which I'm shocked to say. But episodes 4 and episode 6. Wow, episode 6 really got me. Where I was like, holy cow, it's right up my alley for like shit I am interested in.
Is the one that where he saves
Zuko saves him.
Zuko saves him.
Yeah, Zuko saves Avatar.
We get our villain and our hero alone together so they can talk about their political differences and see how they can ever see eye to eye. And I am a sucker bitch for that shit. I will eat that shit up with a spoon until I am dead. It is a trope that I love.
Daredevil and Punisher on a roof. Here,
fucking, that's exactly that's what I'm talking about here, man. Fucking, I like that shit. I like that style, and we get that here. And it's a cliche, but it's a cliche that gets me every time.
Yeah.
And I thought they did this very well. I was really impressed with trying to find common ground and how I believed both of their responses. It didn't feel forced at any point. It was like, nah, fuck you. No, fuck you. And it was like, it was nice, especially since it was, you know, it's based on a cartoon, and there's a lot of cartoony shit that happened in this episode. Like, episode 6 is their best episode, and it has the most cartoony shit. At one point, they're trying to hide, and a lantern light is coming close to them, and you hear, they must be around here somewhere. And it's like, fucking... It's like you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we just hid in the one abandoned house and we'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also the episode that you get.
Was 5 the?
5 was the spirit world.
5 was the
spirit world.
Spirit world
and
where
6 was also the fucking youth.
Where
using
George
the
Takei,
chairs as
stole him. Yeah.
So
that, but see, that's the thing with me. With you know, like he was supposed to go back and get them.
Okay, so that's my thing, James. I don't hate episode 5 as much as you do, but the series ends up hating episode 5 because you set up this entire quest that he's going to go save them from this malevolent spirit that's even brought up in episode 7 again.
Yeah, and you do.
But you basically just kind of bypass an entire thing. So here's your idol, everybody's free now, and like, I wanted to see more of an interaction between him and that character, and
there is
that it promised.
I want to make it clear, there is no battle or arc that they've done that has stick the landing yet.
No.
Like, every time they set something up and they go to the ending of it, it's like, oh, your middle was better than this fucking ending. And so they did that with the entire first series. And they did it with that. They did it with the going back and showing the past of everybody losing to the Firebender's first attacks. So it was like every time they try to go for an arc in the show, man, they cannot stick the landing. They didn't stick the landing with that.
Well, I think they stuck the landing with Zuko's backstory, because I made the comment last week. Said I'm wondering how much of the him getting burned they're going to show.
Yeah.
And even though they didn't show his father actually burning his face, you knew what was going on.
They showed enough.
No, I know, but
showed it.
Where every other instance of somebody getting fire hit to them and things that happening to them, they show this time is like they kept it on Ozai's face, kind of being pleased with himself burning his son's.
No,
He
they
held
did.
him fucking
They did a
down
good
and
job
lit up
with
his
Yeah,
ass.
oh no, I'm aware. I'm just saying that they didn't turn it to Zuko, which was like, okay, well that was finally a choice of restraint against this character.
They've done a good job with having both redeemable and irredeemable bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like the kind of overarching bad guy for this season, you know what I mean? Having him and the way that worked out, like that guy was just a giant piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, and Ozai is a giant piece of shit too. You know what I mean? And you keep just finding out more and more that he's very I'll do a Smallville reference. He's a very Lionel Luthor piece of shit.
Yeah.
Throughout this.
But that's the archetype of the
Even
character.
though they did
like
redeem
that's
that
like
motherfucker
they
later on,
represent
too,
fascism. And like the people that brought fascism to us are these heartless, emotionless fucking sociopaths, right? And so he's the son of that. He's Hitler's kid. And so how is Hitler's kid who wants it's Jojo Rabbit, where we're watching him explore the world and realize like that shit isn't it. And it's nice that like his uncle is somebody who believed in the Nazi propaganda and then lost his son to it, obviously lost complete faith in the propaganda, and then the only faith he has left now is kind of in his nephew, who has now taken that place of his son.
Right.
So and in the cartoon they were my favorite characters, and I am so happy with this show and how they executed them. No scene with them is boring. No scene with them is not interesting. You know, it's like I'm watching them, looking for moments, and listening to everything both of them say, which is wonderful. Like, it's very rare for me to care that fucking much about anything I watch these days. So it was really nice and refreshing, actually, to be like, I wonder what they're gonna show next. I wonder what they're gonna do next with them.
And look, I want to talk about Katara and Sokka, because I think
perfect casting.
Both of them are great. Again, Sokka loses a little bit of his kind of goofiness from the comic or from the cartoon.
How did you find somebody with a chin that big?
Right?
That's why what I was saying like last two episodes. I was like, dude, you came from the Jay Leno freak island.
He looks like someone drew him.
Drew him, and he says his lines like, Mom, like, and it's just like, but it works.
He's got that W.C. Fields nose without the red and shit. Yeah, it's great.
God,
he's great. He's great in it, and I love her, and I loved that storyline.
She's great.
I loved the storyline with, you know, the bringing the women on board to fight. You know what I mean? And then I really
the best fight scene of the whole show is her and old water boy. Fucking, that's what's sad is the Godzilla battle stuff. There was some cool shit there.
Yeah.
But most of the fights in this show have been kind of like, you know, I throw this, you throw this, I jump over.
The water
this.
stuff sucked, except for that fight. When she was fighting with.
The fire
with,
prince
with
guy,
with Zuko at the end, like. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, again, why are you not using the ice shit? Come on.
I mean, for that fight, though, she couldn't win just from a story perspective.
No, I understand that.
Totally.
But the way that she contained him at the end was cool.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool.
What was so cool, so powerful, kind of like in their storytelling, all the young folks run up to her afterwards.
Yes.
Like, well, oh my God, that was amazing. Will you teach me? Will you train me? And it's like showing the older generation with their beliefs, which is nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But the younger generation might not necessarily have the same fucking beliefs as you.
Well, even even the callback that the master has at the end, where he's like, "Hey, look, I told you from the beginning that the reason why we fucking survive is because we change better. We accept change better than anyone, and it was foolish of me to fucking think that shouldn't apply here." And you know, like, again, that was a cool storyline that they wrapped up pretty quickly over a couple episodes. It wrapped up pretty good, and it felt satisfying where some of them fell flat. But that I like that. Again, another reason why I think you might be given a bad, not be given episode 8 a fair shot, just because there's a kaiju Aang fight.
There's a whole unevenness about the stories that they're telling for each character. Obviously, Zuko and Iroh are very strong. Katara has a very strong story. Sokka is
mid.
And as I said on the show last week, I don't care for that type of character trait.
He has 4 stories
but he's
that
so,
wrap up too
so
good.
He's perfect for what he's doing. I just as a character trait, I appall that character trait.
Yeah.
But he's doing the best version of that character trait as you can, and doing
they're
the
giving
role perfectly.
Him stuff to do. He's like almost getting laid. Like it's like
TV PG.
I love it. I like everything with him. Like she's supposed to be betrothed to you. The script, like, fucking.
They kind of say that he at the episode 8 kind of insinuates that he did get laid. She talks about this night that she had. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh,
fucking
no. She came to him in the spirit world.
He is literally the man of the dreams for the girl he meets.
Yes.
And they have a really a love affair. Then bitch decides she wants to be the moon. Welcome to Link's world, fucking Legend of Zelda style.
Okay,
like, I would rather be a dragon than live with you, fucko. And so she takes off, and it takes him one day to realize, hey, I could still get laid someplace else if we keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving. Keep moving. It's been working for me so far. But, you know, you mentioned Legend of Zelda because this series honestly gave me a lot of faith in a Legend of Zelda series because I think there's enough similarities. Like, you have to go a little further with Legend of Zelda, obviously, but like, there's enough similarities in this series that I was like, okay, if someone threw the right kind of money in Netflix to do a fucking Legend of Zelda series, we might be able to get it. Yes, I want some better writers and a little bit more time on some stuff, but
what I'll say,
visually, especially.
I love Legend of Zelda. I think Legend of Zelda would make a great movie or a great TV show. Why I'm always going to say, fuck that idea, that's a horrible idea, is because there's been 8 million movies and TV shows about video games, and they all sucked. And then
not all.
The Last of Us happened, which was shocking.
What I'm saying is we've been making progress, James Kopp. You've got to say.
One out of like 50,000, so it's like, I'm sorry, I know everybody loved Mario Brothers movie. It was not a good
one
film.
That he gave.
Silent Hill's the video game one that everybody pulls out of their ass, and because it's not bad.
It's not bad, but it still has very bad parts to it.
Yeah, totally. But it's not bad. Like, as a horror film on its own, had it just been, it would have been like The Ring. I think for a lot of people, were like, hey, there's this weird kind of weird horror movie you should check out. So. It stands on its own, so I think Silent Hill does succeed in that. But with video game stuff, I don't know what it is. Many smart people, I believe, I don't think stupid people are trying to make these movies. I think many smart people have failed at making video game adaptations to movies. So maybe it can't be done. Maybe it's just something that
Stay
can't be done.
Stay tuned next month for our Fallout 3 series. Weekly review.
We get 2 chances. Are we doing weekly?
I mean, it
comes
out.
They're all dropping at one time.
We might split it. We might
Fallout.
Are they dropping
all
on Amazon?
When they did the trailer today, they said all episodes available April 11th.
How many?
I have to go back. Probably 8 because that's the normal nowadays.
Jesse, would you mind looking up how many episodes the
Yeah,
Fallout
we got
series is?
Fallout coming out on April 11th, James.
So we might split it up.
We will. I just don't know how we're going to split it up yet. So that you get that, and we get Borderlands as a movie later this year.
Yeah, that's right. Borderlands. We got some things coming up.
Lordy.
8?
8. Okay, yeah. Okay. That's the industry standard nowadays for streaming.
Might just
8 episodes.
split it up over 2 weeks.
It's such bullshit, man. Like, watching this show, it was very clear to me, like, by the end, because I did not like the final episode that much, but there were great moments. The first 5 minutes of the final episode was amazing, where it was like they took out a fire ship right away, like, oh my god, we're going right into it. No setup, no anything, we're going right into it. And then it didn't go great. There is a Godzilla, water monster, and they did kill the moon, which I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that to happen.
Did you know the moon was Did you know the moon was a fish?
I didn't know the moon was a fish. Like, as soon as you saw the fish, I was like, oh, he's gonna stab the wrong thing. Like, nope, that fish is the fucking moon. And I was like, there were many twists and turns in that final episode that I did not see coming, ladies and gentlemen. Good lord. He put it in a bag, and the whole thing got cloudy, and he's got some wonderful lines there. He's like, I don't even think the Avatar matters anymore. Neither do I, fucko. Put the moon back in the lake.
He's like, hey, bro.
Like, you're dealing with level
I'll slit
of
this fucking
gods
fish's
now.
throat.
Like, it's like, dude, there's no history if we knock the entire world out of orbit and we all fucking die because you put a fish in a bag, you piece of shit. So it's the final episode took some twists and turns I was not expecting.
Yeah. Well, anything else we want to talk about that stood out wonderful for us over this?
I mean, I would tell there's 3 hours of a brilliant movie in here, and I really think episodes I would say 4, 5, 6, and 7. Like, you can just skip the first 2 and the last one. There's moments in the last one, but you can just skip a lot of it. But it's some of the story stuff is just so great, and I loved it when it went cartoon. Yeah. I love the friend in the past being the old crazy person with way too much makeup on it. It was like, I was like, it was just the right tone. That
was in 3.
Yeah. It was early on, but it's the first good episode.
No, that's
it's the first good episode because it's kind
of
like
first
leaning into
amazing, episode. Yeah. Like a lot of other things, world building, there was pieces, but I agree with you. I think that the same amount of time spent on different character building moments would have made for a perfect season. That being said, I still think that it was a pretty amazing season, and I'm excited for them to move forward. And
in a world of thumbs up, thumbs down, I would give this first season a thumbs up. Gotcha. In a world of thumbs up, thumbs down, it's like it's so I think it's earned it. But I come from the mindset of like, why did this should have been the movie. Like, had anybody been in the room, like, hey, if we were to edit this down to just a 3-hour film, we could release it, and it's gonna be the best best movie Avatar adaptation we're ever gonna get.
Yeah. So what do you think?
So I mean, as I said last week, though, because I've seen One Piece live action. One Piece live action is better overall for a adaptation than this is, but this still ranks high of the adaptations that have come out for.
One Piece is really good. I just rewatched that one again. Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, so I mean,
I was so pissy this last week. I didn't like Dune 2, and everybody else fucking loved it. I didn't like anything I watched. Episode 6 was such a delight. Like, I forgot that it was the Fire Prince that gets him out. Like, it's been forever since I watched the cartoon, so like when it the mask hit him, I was like, oh shit, it's the Fire Prince. Like, I was actually excited. I was like, oh my god, I fucking forgot about that. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get a hero villain fucking talking scene. God, they're talking about fucking calligraphy and fucking how do you write your diary? Because they're fucking kids.
Yeah.
There was so much in that. That episode for me is my Loki cutting God's head off. It's the heart of ice from the Batman animated series. Like, I'm gonna go back and watch episode 6 again and again. It's like but I won't do that for this whole season. I would never do that for this whole season.
See, episode 6 though proves the point that it's not entirely the kid's fault, because the kid that plays Aang does wonderful in that episode.
He's great.
In that episode, which the rest of the second half of the series shows that it's a lot of direction, it's a lot of how they wrote him, and a lot of other things that show that that's kind of where they ruin the character.
Hopefully they do him justice in the next season. Well, look, guys, let's rate this.
Okay.
Should we rate this? Let's do this.
I gave it 3 last week for the first 4 episodes. This is going to go up to I'll say 4 for the second half of the season. Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna do 3.5, which is like, it was at a 4, and then I got really mad at the last episode where it was like the last episode was just like, there was we went into the last episode going like, fucking, this is a great show. I'm gonna recommend this to people, and then it's like, I'm gonna recommend the middle of this series to people. So Jesse, a thumbs up.
Jesse, why is the full mark not his correct head? I know. That's the full mark.
I love it.
The half is the arrow.
I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. 4 dickhead Aangs. I thought this has I think this has a lot of promise. I think that I think that it left me excited to see the next. And again, I think it balances pretty well with the amount of earnest that it gives to this series. And I just hope that they have a little more breathing room with character development next time. And like James says, lean in a little bit more on that cartoony shit, because it's not bad.
I was shocked because it's so hard. It's so hard to tell if that will work or not. Nobody who made the Garbage Pail Kids movie thought like, hey, this is gonna be fucking horrible. Like, they were like, no. We gotta make it like,
I love the Garbage Pail Kids.
No, dude. Those motherfuckers thought like, if we make these big prosthetic heads, we can make it look like the characters come to life, and then it won't matter. Like, I'm sure there was good intentions there. It's like, but it's with this, the cartoony actually hit. I laughed out loud when they used the fucking the poles as stilts and walked across people, or walked across an army.
Yeah.
I was just like, that is the silliest shit ever. And it's like, you made it look real. Yeah. You made it look like part of the show. Like, it's like that. Of course they were supposed to do that.
So
good Lord.
So season 2, we'll get the fan favorite character of Toph. Let's hope that that's done well.
Do we know?
I'm gonna have to think about it even.
No, Toph is the blind Earthbender.
Right.
The girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, because they just announced it it's going to be seasons 2 and 3, and that'll be it. But they haven't started anything on it, so there's no casting done for it or anything like that. Right. So they have time. It's just that. So we get Toph in season 2. My biggest fear going forward, based upon the action choreography of this first season, just in general, is the main fight at the end of the series between Ozai and Aang.
You think it's gonna suck?
Unless they fix something in that, what they've shown in this season right now shows that fight is going to be bad. And
well, let's just hope that gets. Let's just hope that this is, which I've already heard is done very well for Netflix, and that they will hopefully expand the budget and maybe take it even a little more seriously for the next couple seasons. But that is not par for the course. It will probably get canceled next season. And,
their
announcement was it's seasons 2 and 3. It's going to wrap up.
They announce a lot of things at Netflix that don't happen, Matt. So
but this is one of their.
It's kids, so they're probably going to shoot them together.
Yeah,
Season 2 and 3 back
this
to
is
back.
one of their Asian market shows. They're able to steal more money from those groups.
That's
So
true.
like they're gonna keep. They got 8 million Squid Games because they gave the Squid Game creators like $5 and a hat.
Yeah.
So it said watch
pack of American cigarettes.
Fucking Jesus, man! The end of this, like, do you hear, shareholders? We will have more seasons of new content, guaranteed. Daniel must pay more.
Daniel Day Kim might as well have just looked into the camera in that last scene.
Fucking, that's what it felt like.
Smokin's
like,
Kopp.
Don't you want to see more? Please insert $14.99 per household, please.
Can I?
Yes, I was on Lost. You remember? You all remember me from
Lost? That storyline of the 18?
Yeah.
Let's take a moment. I'm sorry.
Peppers, that is.
I'm sorry, James Kopp, but we have to take a moment, Matt and I, to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy VII.
All right.
Rebirth.
I got booze.
You enjoy hearing about this stuff.
How many hours are you in?
First off, I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII, but I want to say this. The original game was so interesting. I watched Christensen play it, and I was like completely entertained watching him play it. Continue.
So this gives you that feeling of it's fun to watch playing it and to watch playing it because you're not confined to hallways as you were in Remake.
No.
Yeah, you have a full open world. This is a truly full open interconnected world, and
it's really gorgeous.
My timer says 32 hours.
Okay. That's because you pause it and you have a child.
Yeah, that's part of the reason. But
I understand.
But that's also me 100%ing each of the zones as I do it.
I'm not that far. I'm barely at the grasslands. Honestly, I got a slow start. I did play the demo, and got a bit of the the little heads up on some things. I really, again, I think it's gorgeous. I think a lot of the mechanics, the new things that they're doing, just kind of, just the simple little thing, and this was in the demo too, where you go through and you have to do the piano. There's different things from the old one where you have to do the piano, and it's very basic, push Y, this, whatever, you know what I mean? The piano, just the kind of recreation of playing these piano things where it's like this little mini rhythm game that you do with the joysticks it's just like I spent 35 minutes doing that perfectly. Like I couldn't not. I was just like, holy shit, it's and it's a recreation of those old beautiful, James, if you remember watching it, I mean, one of the entrancing things about that old game was the soundtrack. The soundtrack for that game,
it's like even the visuals and the soundtrack. Like it was just, it broke our heart. I remember Christian said like when they re-released 7 without updating it, we were playing it. And it was like the graphics were never this bad. Like when you played it that first time, we had never seen graphics like that.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing at the time. Yeah,
and the graphics in this are absolutely amazing too. The problem is lighting. Whoever did lighting on the game, work on it. Because there's times where the lighting hits Cloud's face and he looks like a ghoul.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
Yeah,
there's some weird stuff here and there, but I like the little extra mechanics. Like I've not, like fighting is maybe 30% of the things that I've done so far in this game, which normally you'd be like, oh, well, that's bad, but that's not a bad thing at all. Like I've had tons of fun just doing and learning the little new kind of mechanics of the things that are going on in the world. And, you kind of have to go and find the chocobo in each little land so that you can do the traversal stuff. So it has so much of all of these things from all of these games that I like that still tie in to what I remember from the old game. And so far I'm having a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy it.
I'm at Corel, which is chapter 7.
Okay, well, you're way ahead.
Well, no, I understand. But I'm just saying that's chapter 7, first game into 18 chapters, so it's still not that far in the game if they're going in the same amount of chapters. But yeah, no, everything has been fantastic so far. I really enjoy Queen's Blood.
I do like that. Again, another thing that I spent about an hour on. It's their new card game. What was the one from the original called?
From 8?
8 was
8 was the first card game. That was Triple Triad.
Triple Triad.
Yep.
So they introduced a card game in this, which is a lot of fun. Again, you know, they kind of give you the opportunity at the beginning to just kind of waste a whole bunch of time just playing this little card game and acquiring more cards in this.
To the point where I am, because it's still kind of early on of that, you can do destruction decks.
Oh, great.
So you can do...
you get one.
There is a whole series of cards that if you want to do a destruction deck, you can do a straight destruction deck and just destroy your own cards, their cards, and power up certain ones to dominate. Beautiful. So,
yeah. I mean...
Christensen plays those games like a serial killer.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, it was something like hour 4. We were sitting in our first place together, and I was sitting on the couch of you running back and forth in the woods just to level up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, he's going to do this for like 20, 30 minutes, and then we'll see what's... And like, you had gone like 3 hours. So like, fuck this.
Go.
Yeah, and I was just like,
I need to be in these 4 squares because this fucking guy only spawns in these 4 squares, and this guy I can steal with fucking this person to get that thing.
Yep.
See, fighting this game is fun. I'm not fighting to level up this time around because they've changed it to... Well, the thing is that they changed it that you now need to assess every enemy to be able to get bonus stuff. But what appears in the world is a bunch of, hey, there's things to pick up to then transmute. It's like, I got to go get all that stuff, even though it respawns almost immediately. I'm going to run around collecting all that stuff.
Yeah. Now you're running in a circle and collecting it. So anyways, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, get it.
Yep.
James Kopp, get in.
PS5 just for that. Nothing else.
Next week, we will be back to give our little assessment of Dune 2. I'm actually probably going to see it again. Just saying.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the rest of our month rundown we're doing Dune 2. Then we're coming at you with the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97. And then we're going to finish off this month with probably some more X-Men, maybe the next episode, but the main thing being that Ghostbusters flick that the kids are talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Man, every trailer for every trailer for the Ghostbusters movie makes me hate it more. Like,
I'm the opposite, the total opposite. I love it more every trailer.
Let Dan Aykroyd write his weird ass shit and then bring in somebody like a Harold Ramis that can make it into a funny story so we don't get nothing but trouble on us.
I think that's exactly what's happening. I feel the more I see, I feel that is exactly what is happening with this new fucking Ghostbusters.
The trailer keeps giving me too much member berries. Like, it was like... the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man doesn't even make sense to be a ghost thing because it was a one-off thing.
Callback from the last one.
Yeah, and then it was like, and then we also got Slimer, which hey, I love the cartoon. We got to bring Slimer back, so I'm okay with that. But then it was like, then we got Dan at the fucking at the library with the librarian, and I was just like, God damn it! It's just gonna be the fucking same movie. It's just gonna be the same movie out of order with a different ending. And
I mean, the end of the previous one, Afterlife, was the main villain from the first movie itself too. So
yeah, it's just
what do you want?
Something new, damn it, something new.
No, they tried that with the women and everybody hated it.
Yep.
Oh, good lord! But they didn't really. Yeah,
I know it was the same movie, but it was with women.
Listen,
it's the same movie, but fucking like rely too much on the hey, you're fat, we'll have you fall and go duh! And it's like, and then we'll hate. Then we'll be mad at everybody for not liking this piece of shit. Jesus.
A movie where they realize at the end, we should have had Thor be the bad guy the entire movie.
Man. And it was like, Spy came out like within within the year of that movie, and it was like Spy is fucking If you have never seen Spy with Melissa McCarthy, go watch that, please. That is such a fucking funny film. And it was like using her comedy talent to make the comedy work. In Ghostbusters, she literally is falling because she's fat. She's fat, so she falls.
Fatty fall down.
Jesus. Yep. Yeah, fatty's got to fall. Anyhow.
All right, guys. We got to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching us. We appreciate you. This is Final Watch It. We've been watching Avatar, The Last Airbender on Netflix. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. Until next time, I'm Smokin' Phat J.
I'm Matt Christy.
James Kopp.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.